People have been constantly asking me, how do I eco in Battles 2? And we're going to be referring to this comprehensive eco guide that was posted 2 years ago, so it's a little outdated, but it still generally has good information. Eco is a term for the income that generates you money throughout the game. It gives you money every 6 seconds, called an eco tick. Eco balloons refer to the balloons that players send to improve their eco, which will give them more money later on. They are not usually meant to kill the opponent. And there are 3 important concepts when choosing what balloons to send: efficiency, speed, and strength. So we're going to be playing a game right now, and I'm going to be showing you guys when and what balloons to send. All right, so just a quick little pro tip. This only works on PC, but we all know about the balloon bot, right? You put it down the map, you click the balloon send that you want to send, and it will constantly, constantly send it for you. But if you don't want to use a balloon bot because they're kind of just stupid, on PC, there's hotkeys because of the keyboard, right? Pretty much, for example, if I want to send pink balloons, I can click and hold with my cursor, or I can use my hotkey, which is A for the first balloon send slot for me, okay? Now I'm holding down A right now, but if you're on PC and you hold down your balloon hotkey for whatever balloon you want to send, and then you hold the Alt button, so push down Alt, and then let go of the balloon send hotkey. So I'm going to let go of that now, and then I'm going to let go of Alt right after. Boom. Voila. No hands. I'm constantly sending balloons. The reason why I wanted to include this is because people literally ask me all the time how I do it. That's how I do it. All right, we got one of the best eco maps in the entire game, Star, using probably the easiest and most classic eco strategy, Gwendolyn, Tac, Village Glue, Scientist Gwendolyn, that is, okay? But let's immediately start off the game here with immediately sending grouped reds, and then we can also go for a tac shooter right about here. Now, a lot of the time, the life advantage is going to matter when using eco-based strategies, so try to go no lives lost during the earlier game rounds. If you have to over defend a little bit and you can't send constant grouped reds or you have to slow down your eco, it is absolutely fine. But on rounds 1 through 2, you want to be sending grouped reds. And throughout the earlier game rounds, you want to be maximizing your eco with sending constant grouped eco sends. So on round 3, we're going to transition from grouped reds into grouped blues. By the way, with this specific strategy, I'm going to go ahead and go with the middle path upgrades on the tac shooter here. Gwendolyn should be able to pop those 2 red balloons that got by, so I'm not too concerned. Yep, beautiful. Into group blues again on round 3. Group blues are less efficient, but significantly faster than grouped reds. If you have an eco strategy, you should almost always send them on round 3. Here come the space yellows. Let me go for the middle path or top path upgrades. I'm sorry now. Yeah, this is all live comm, by the way. So I might be all over the place, but for the most part, just try to pay attention to what balloon sends that I'm currently sending, okay? And when exactly I transition. So on round 4, we are now going to transition from group blues into spaced pinks, and we're also going to need to upgrade to the good old blade shooter upgrade in order to be fine against space whites on round 5. So I'm just going to pre-buy that right here, right now. But yes, space pinks are the same efficiency as grouped reds and just slightly slower than grouped blues. Some players prefer to send grouped blues on round 4 in stalled games, but I prefer to save more money for grouped greens and yellows in later rounds. So with this game, we're not really stalling out the rounds all that well. Like, we don't have like a glue slowing down the AI balloons, and like both of our defenses are like kind of in the middle part of the map. So although this is a good eco map, it's not the best in regards to stalling. So the longer that you take to pop the AI balloons, all of these like blue balloons, for example, are AI. The whites are player sent. There's a difference. So the longer that you take to pop the AI balloons, the longer the rounds will last. And if the rounds last longer, that is good for eco-based strategies because eco is time dependent. This green number up here comes in every 6 seconds. So if you're stalling out the rounds and making the overall game last longer, then you're overall going to have more money. So will your opponents, but if you have a pure eco strategy, then it's super important that you try to stall out the rounds when possible, okay? For this map, I know I didn't go for a glue, but I don't think it's like fully necessary. By the way, on round 6, we sent space blacks. They don't cost too much during this round. You should get more money and save for group yellows on the next round, which is the next round right now, round 7, okay? So group yellows send very fast, and you will not have enough money to constantly send them. Once you get low on money, send a couple of space blacks, just like how you sent some space whites on round 5. Although in a situation like this, we had enough money to send constant freaking group yellows. So back to space blacks though now on round 8, and you can even continue on sending them to round 9, depending on like how the overall game is going for you so far. I feel like with this game, we might in fact be able to get away with sending space zebras. However, we have such a good eco already that I'm going to play it a little bit safer here, because now I need to start preparing a little bit more with my mid-game defense. But a lot of people like to send space zebras on round 9 to round 10, like this guy currently is. So I'm going to go ahead and use my level 3 ability. That should hold us over for a little bit. And now we do have the glue within our strategy, so going with the glue would be smarter. By the way, grouped reds on round 10 through 11 is usually a pretty good send. Sometimes I even like to send group blues, but if you want to be a little bit safer, send the grouped reds. Round 11 is here. Now, we don't technically have enough money for our overall defense. I just think that we can get away with everything. Currently, he has the ninja, by the way. Tack farm ninja is a really weird strategy, but whatever. This is a little bit more on the expensive side, the mid-game defense for the strategy, so we kind of have got to go for a lot of different stuff. The radar scanner, and again, the ring of fire, which I didn't even know it was 3,500. Holy crap, that is super, super expensive. He was able to go for his bank, though. Fair play, well done. If you're going against a farm user, then usually the life advantage won't matter, so like don't sweat it if you don't have the life advantage, because farm players will be aggressive against you. But sometimes on round 12, by the way, people like to send space rainbows because they send pretty fast and they're reasonably efficient, but I would really only send them to force defense on your opponent's side, which you could have argued that we could have. I mean, he has a flash bomb though and Quincy, so like I wasn't even gonna try. But while we eco, we want to simultaneously build up bottom path villages, okay? I still have not, though, went for this. It's not very... yeah. Let me just play it safe, okay? For this situation and this everything, I feel like I have an advantage on my opponent, so decide to play it safer here. Let me go ahead and set down a banana farmer as well, because that will auto-collect all the crates from our bottom path villages. But yeah, the fact that we still don't have one here on round 16 is not super, super ideal. But yeah, throughout the mid-game rounds, grouped yellows is going to be your best bet, okay? However, eventually you do want to transition into group pinks. It just depends, though. You don't want to eco with pinks until you can send pinks constantly without running out of money. So usually if you're around 1750 eco, currently we're at 1450, usually around 1750 is when you can constantly send pinks without running out of money. Let's go for that monkey economy there. And when we go for a new monkey economy, we're going to want to make sure that that next monkey economy is right next to our other monkey economies. Because think about it. This monkey economy has the double bottom path monkey business and monkey commerce upgrades. And what do those upgrades do? They discount all upgrades within the village's radius. So that means this new monkey economy here will be discounted up to tier 3 upgrades. So it's a little bit cheaper and it will save you a lot of money in the overall long run. I might be able to go for another village in here. No, I cannot. That's fine though. So we're going to go ahead and have our next village then more up here. It is now round 18. So like right now is a good time. We could probably transition into pink. So let's go ahead and do that. Did I play this game like absolutely flawlessly? No, because I'm live commenting this and like I'm also trying to explain a lot. But I'll make sure to include like a post for you guys in the comment section below that like really details everything in case I missed anything. Now's a good time again to transition into group pinks. Some players even like to send group zebras on rounds 19 through round 21. Group zebras are much less efficient, but slightly faster than pinks. It takes 6 minutes and 30 seconds for them to pay off, more than pinks would. In most games, you should not send group zebras. Only send them if you think the game will go beyond round 34. And even then, you should switch back to pinks in the early to mid 20s. So I do expect this game to go... Actually, no, I don't. No, I don't, because Tack Farm Ninja, that's not a really great strategy. But me personally, okay, this is what I personally do. I like to now... Okay, well, first of all, I need to go for this. I need to make sure that I'm fine. So I'm going to kind of over-defend there a little bit. A little unfortunate, but it is what it is. I kind of needed the overdrive to pop down that mob lair. But now, me personally, I like to go for another monkey economy, but off in the corner somewhere, because this monkey economy will be our eventual Monkeyopolis. And when you do go for the Monkeyopolis is going to give you 20% more income from just simply sending eco, which makes a very, very big difference. Now, the Monkeyopolis did recently get nerfed, so it's a lot harder to obtain. So I might have went for too many bottom path villages, because you kind of want to go for the Monkeyopolis as soon as you can, right? Because again, you're going to get that 20% increase of eco from all balloon sets. So you could argue like selling off these into the Monkeyopolis would be a decent play. These are still technically making us money though, so that's a super nice thing. And while we are doing all of this, we have to make sure that we have optimal defense for potential rushes, okay? Tack Village Glue happens to be very nice though, because you can go for multiple upgrades that can easily defend against tight rushes. Tight rushes are super oppressive currently in Battles 2, but one tower that comes to mind is going to be the Super Maelstrom on the Tack Shooter. That pretty much shreds any tight rush, so we've got that going for us. Plus, like, based on the way my opponent's playing, they just upgraded several farms. That lets me know that they just spent a lot of money on their farms, so they don't really have money to even rush us with in the first place, you feel? So I'm sorry, I feel like I'm just yapping a lot with this one, but there's just like so much to explain. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please let me know down in the comment section below. But again, overall, if you're like looking for a pretty simple guide on how to eco with an eco strategy like this is more of a pure eco strategy. We do have a source of alt eco, and what alt eco means is you're making money outside of your eco game. The bottom path villages are alt eco, okay? But the majority of our money is coming from our eco game. We did go recently for the Monkeyopolis, so now you should see our eco even skyrocket more. But round 25 is in fact here. Now we should start preparing a little bit more for round 26 DDTs and stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and use my level 3 ability there, by the way, just to make sure that we are good. We are indeed. But usually with Tack Village Glue, just going simply for the super glue is going to be one of your better bets with easily handling DDTs, okay? So that's why we're going to start pre-buying those upgrades. And if worst comes to absolute worst, we can always sell the Monkeyopolis into the super glue. Fortunate enough for us, we didn't like get an aggressive opponent, so like we just got to fully focus on our eco game. So I'm very, very happy with the way things have turned out thus far with this one. But yep, round 26, the first round, and he can send us DDTs. He did stop ecoing. If your opponent ever stops ecoing, that's probably a good time to expect a rush. Not saying like 100% they're going to rush, but if they were ecoing and then they suddenly stop, they're up to something, right? So that's why I haven't really upgraded these villages, because yes, these villages could make us even more money technically. I guess I could now though, because it's only 28k for the super glue. And if he sees me upgrading bottom path villages, he might think that I don't have enough to go for the super glue, when in reality, I do in fact. But let's continue on going for these bottom path villages. Now, you're probably asking yourself, when do you stop going for the bottom path villages? And that kind of just overall depends on when you expect your opponent to rush you. So with this guy, since he's using Tack Farm Ninja, again, very interesting strategy, but since he's using that strategy, I think it's safe to assume that he's going to be rushing us like about round 32. So honestly, right now would probably be a pretty good time to stop our eco and even our village farm game. So 5502 eco is where we're going to stop, even though he's still setting zebras. So you could even argue that I could continue on sending grouped pinks. I'm kind of just reading through this list really quick just to make sure that I'm not missing anything too crazy. But again, grouped reds on rounds 1 through 2. Group blues on round 3. Space pinks on round 4. Grouped greens on round 5. Space blacks on round 6. Grouped yellows on round 7. And rounds 8 through 9, space blacks. But sometimes on rounds 9 through 10, space zebras if you want to pressure your opponent. Or you think you can just get away with that greedy eco. By the way, just as I'm reading this, I'm going to upgrade to the super glue just to ensure that we're absolutely fine. And then on rounds 10 through round 11, grouped reds. Even sometimes group blues I like to send. On round 12, you can continue on sending group reds or group blues, but space rainbows if you want to force some defense, if your opponent has pretty minimal defense. And then rounds 13 through 17, you want to send grouped yellows. Kind of around that round 17 point is when you finally want to transition into pink eco. And then rounds 19 through round 21, you can transition into zebras. Again, it just depends on a lot of different things though, with how the overall game and stuff is going. But we are now in the late game territory, round 30. So now he can send us 4 to 5 BEDs. So technically with Tack Village Glue, spamming overdrives is better and more optimal than going straight for a tack zone. The tack zone is not very good, actually. As much as I like that upgrade, it's just not that good. Technically, we probably should even sell off one of these villages here so that we can go for the primary expertise. Maybe I didn't need to sell that, but I kind of just wanted to replace these anyway with potential tack shooters. So we'll go for our primary expertise like right here. Now this will discount a bunch of the upgrades on our tack shooters, actually making up to tier 2 upgrades 100% free. So it's a pretty big deal if you ask me. And we have the life advantage here, so he's not ecoing now. Again, like we could have probably ecoed a little bit harder, but it's absolutely fine. We can take this game literally all the way to round 40, and there is literally no need for us to eco any further, okay? Some of you might be wondering, well, 5502, that's not even that much. It's plenty, especially for a strategy like this. This strategy is so cheap, yet so effective. We can go for so many overdrives because these things are dirt cheap. And you definitely want to make sure that you're going for as many overdrives as possible inside the range of the primary expertise. Because again, these are like super cheap for us to go for. Plus, they're getting heavily buffed with all the primary buffs on the top path. So I'm going to go ahead and sell that as well. Again, it was making us some money, but again, we can just go for some more tack shooters. You don't have to take your time with all the pixel perfect placements like I am. I just have an issue, of course. But like the fact that this guy's like upgrading his defense that much is kind of crazy. Maybe he just wants to take me all the way to round 40. Again, like I have the life advantage and he has no way of regening his lives. So if you want to go to round 40, be my freaking guest. See, like down here, for example, like, yes, these are good tack shooter spots, but they're not being buffed by the primary expertise. So like, I'm not going to prioritize those initially. I'd rather prioritize the primary expertise tack shooters, you feel? We could probably also, well, if I sell you, because that's not a great tack shooter spot. If I sell this and go for instead the balloon dissolver, that might be a little bit of a better play. So yeah, we'll go for you. So I guess I could have like had these like positions differently, because like now I'm just gonna end up selling these, you know. So kind of a waste of money, but again, we have $250,000, bro. So like money is really not an issue at this point. We probably should upgrade some of these just to be a little bit more ready. I will upgrade finally now to the good old tax zone. Okay, wait, he's selling off stuff. Okay. And then when we micro this homeland inside the range of this, the Monkeyopolis, it'll be a little bit discounted for us. We have 3 tower boosts for a reason. We can also glue storm. Okay. I can't even see, bro. We'll use that. Okay. Should be good. All we have to do is pop off the 4 to 5 BAD layers. Yep. And we're good. The synergy with this strategy is crazy. Like, look, I didn't even upgrade this. I could have went for so many more tack shooters, by the way. I took my good old time, and we still defended that easily. We still have 2 tower and he springs. Like, dude, the synergy, I'm telling you, if you don't know, like, what eco strategy you want to use, that's exactly why I just use Tack Village Glue. Obviously, it cannot work on every single map, but that map specifically, you saw how easy it was for us to go for all that defense and everything. But did I play perfectly? Did I perfectly eco? Probably not, because I live commed this, so I couldn't fully focus, but I was just trying to explain everything once again. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know down in the comment section below. But again, if you just want the general idea on how to eco, just follow what I sent each and every single round, and that's how you eco.